Hello my fellow oddities and welcome to a new video, and my most popular series on the channel has finally returned, Design Rankings. It's been a couple of months and we have a new format this time because we've covered every single character with 10 or more designs. So now I'll be ranking multiple characters within one video, starting with today where we're going to be ranking the remaining ninja characters that we haven't covered yet, that being Chameleon, Khameleon, Tremor, Frost, Scarlet, Triborg, and Floyd. Of course, for anyone who hasn't seen the previous videos, let's reiterate the rules. The first rule is that I will only be ranking designs from Mortal Kombat games, which means no comics, movies, or cartoons, or any other games that these characters may have been a part of. The second rule is that I will not be ranking any repeated or reused designs, which means no recreated classic costumes from the later games, and nothing that has been recycled for multiple games. The third rule is for Mortal Kombat 11 only, and it's that I will only be ranking designs either included in the story mode or the default outfit, because there's just a lot of designs in Mortal Kombat 11 that aren't worth talking about. And the fourth and final rule is that there will be no Mortal Kombat mobile game designs, only console releases. So without further ado, let's get into the 22 designs we have to rank here today. At number 22, I have Triborg. He's one of the two characters we're covering today with only one design, and really, this design is a throwaway. You're not supposed to really see him in his default outfit, since his whole gimmick is just his variations that turn him into different cyber ninjas. It's very basic, just being gray with blue lights, and it looks like an NPC you'd see in the background, not a main character. This design also suffers from MKX's design philosophy of being grungy and dark, not as much as the actual cyber ninjas from the game, since it's just a gray design and not ugly red or ugly yellow, but still, this design is just nothing to write home about, and you basically never see it in game anyways. You can't even select it without mods because the standard way of getting a character to be variationless actually just gives you Cyber Sub-Zero for Triborg. At number 21, I have Mortal Kombat Trilogy's Chameleon with a C. This is just the UMK3 ninja design, which you guys probably know I'm not a huge fan of, but now it's constantly changing color, which can sometimes be epilepsy-inducing. If this design actually looked the way it's often depicted in graphics, this rainbow mix sort of thing, then it would be a lot cooler. Maybe the colors kind of swirl around his body or something, but that's not how it actually looks in the game. It's basically just like a Shang Tsung morph where he takes the exact appearance of each of the ninjas, just with the transparency slightly down. Nothing really unique to him, and I understand that's the gimmick, but he's had other designs that make it clear that this is a separate character, just with the powers of all the ninjas. And the same thing with number 20, Chameleon with a K's MK Trilogy design. Take everything I just said about C Chameleon and apply it here. Only thing is that I like the UMK3 female ninja design more than the male one, but still a fairly uninteresting design. At number 19, I have MKX's Frost design from when she briefly appears in the story mode. This design is just a slightly less detailed, gender-bent version of the MKX Sub-Zero design, and I actually think it looks better on Frost since her hair adds more color and saturation that just contrasts the design a bit better. But I still don't like the pattern on the vest, the gray mask, and the desaturation. Plus, it being a complete copy of Sub's design doesn't make it feel like Frost's own costume. Not much personality shines through here, as opposed to other games where the two have different designs. At number 18, I have Scarlet's PS Vita alternate design. For whatever reason, the MK9 console version didn't receive any skins for DLC characters, but the PS Vita got several. We talked about it with Kenshi's designs ranked, and again, Scarlet actually has 3 designs in this game that aren't in the console releases. But this design doesn't really feel right for the character in my opinion. I get what it's going for with a very ninja-inspired look, but it kinda looks like a sexy ninja Halloween costume. Also, that red hair is just such an iconic thing for the character, and it feels just wrong to cover that up. Plus, Scarlet has always felt to me like a slim-fitting acrobatic character, and these shoulder pads and overall bulkiness and amount of just stuff on this design feels like too much to me. At number 17, I have Tremor's most recent design in Mortal Kombat 1. This is just the MK2 ninja design, but with rocky Tremor skin, and that's my favorite thing about it. Other than that though, it's just a basic looking ninja design. And it's kind of weird because Tremor has never had the MK2 design before. So I don't know why they didn't just go with his UMK3 design, which he has rocked before. Get it?
Sorry.
Or even his MKX design would be good, or maybe even just something new, but instead we got this. I also think that the colors on the vest need to decide whether it's orange or brown. Tremor is the brown ninja. I've heard people say that he's orange, but no. He isn't. He should be brown. Rocks aren't orange. Also, this isn't an actual criticism, but I hate how this render specifically doesn't have the orange eyes. It's so distracting and kind of uncanny, but he does have the orange eyes in the game, so again, this isn't like an actual criticism. At number 16, I have the default design for Scarlet in MK11. Now, there are quite a few people who hate this design for varying reasons, and I don't hate it, but I do think it was a step back from MK9's interpretation. Firstly, as I said earlier, Scarlet's red hair is her defining characteristic, so covering that up just seems really weird to me, and just overall, this outfit is way too covered up for who Scarlet is. Blood is obviously a very bodily and organic thing, so I just think it makes sense for Scarlet to show skin, especially if skin is how she's absorbing the blood. I've never really cared about characters having or not having revealing designs. In fact, I've been critical of people who have complained about that stuff in the past. If they look cool, then they look cool. But for Scarlet specifically, this is just way too much. She's the most covered up out of pretty much all the characters in the game in this default, and it looks very impractical and like hot. All this cloth, armor, and just stuff hanging off, it feels very claustrophobic to wear, especially if you're fighting. At number 15, I have Khameleon's MK1 design. I think this is a little controversial to have this so low, since I think a decent number of people actually enjoyed this design, but I've never found it very interesting. It's just very basic and feels like something an NPC would wear, which is what Chameleon was on launch. But I feel like they could have done something more creative than just the white skin, white eyes, white hair. It was very boring. Give her the transparent skin, the glowing eyes, and the wild hair from Armageddon. No, I'm not a fan of the Chameleon bob. That's Tanya's hair. At number 14, I have Frost's MK Deadly Alliance alternate design. This one just doesn't feel like something Frost would wear. It seems like sort of a royal ice princess type of thing, which is definitely not Frost. More so Elsa. I've always seen Frost as sort of an angsty younger character, and I think she would find this type of outfit too classy for her, and she would want to go with something more intimidating or hardcore. I also don't really like the lack of mask, and another thing, why is her face completely different? In her default, she has these wide, almost childlike innocent eyes, but in this, she looks like a grown woman. Honestly, giving MILF vibes. At number 13, I have Frost's Mortal Kombat 1 design. This is just the classic Frost design from MK11, without the cyborg stuff, and with the actual MK2 mask. It also doesn't have the thigh holes. How? How could NRS do this to us? But yeah, this is standard MK Ninja stuff. It's a bit interesting to see it on a female body, but I got nothing else to say on this one. It's good. It's cool. Cool. It's very cool. At number 12, I have another Frost design from MK1, her Christmas themed one. Now usually I have these gimmicky holiday themed designs pretty low, since they usually don't represent the character very well and are often just throwaway designs that no one will use outside of whatever holiday or time period that it's supposed to be relevant for. This one's different. Firstly, Christmas is a pretty fitting theme for Frost. I also really love the fur hoodie. The outfit itself, if you block out the random Christmas stuff, looks very nice, and the icy shoulder pads are also really cool. But the main reason that this design is so high on this list is because Frost looks ridiculously hot in it. I'm a very simple man. I mean, come on. Look at her. Her eyes look super cute. The makeup is nice. Decent amount of skin showing without it looking stupid. The pale white skin. The way her hair swooshes. I'd ask her out. At number 11, we're back to Scarlet with her PS Vita UMK3 design. Not much to say for this one, it's just the classic UMK3 female ninja design, and now it's red. Plus the red hair looks nice, and I think it fits Scarlet very well. More so than probably the others who have worn this design. It's good. Same thing with the number 10 design, her MK2 PS Vita design. I like this one a little bit more since MK2 is actually where the Scarlet rumors originated. Basically, there was a rumor that there was a glitch within the game that would turn Katana red, and that produced its own rumors that there was a secret character named Scarlet. Just classic MK rumors, secrets, myths, hoaxes. It's That's why we love it. So I like this one a little bit better, but not much else to say other than that. At number 9, I have the most recent design to be featured on this list, the Mortal Kombat 1 Floyd design. This design is just the MK2 ninja design, but instead of the ninja's signature color in black, it's Floyd's color of pink and white, which is a very nice switch up to have white. I think when we first heard of Floyd, we were expecting him to just be another complete palette swap, so good job, NRS. Give yourself a pat on the back and a thumbs up. Sure. But yeah, I really enjoy the inclusion of Floyd, and I think pink is an underrated color, and I think it looks sick on an MK Ninja. I also find his skin a bit interesting. It's not quite Khameleon's skin tone of just complete pale white, but it is a bit off color, a little bit whitish pink, which makes me wonder what race or type of character he is. I do hope they make Floyd an actual character and this isn't just a one-off joke. I think there's a lot of fire designs you could create with a pink ninja that are more unique than the MK2 ninja design, which I think works here, but this could definitely be expanded upon. And please don't have him replace Chameleon. That would be really, really lame. I think Chameleon is his own separate character, his own gimmick, his own thing. He's really cool for that. They should make Floyd an actual character within the story with his own powers and stuff. The reason that he has the powers of the other characters in this game, I think should be just for the same reasons that Reptile and Noob Saibot and Jade and Smoke had the powers of the other characters in the arcade era, because they're not going to create a whole new moveset for a secret character that isn't playable. At number 8, I have the first ever appearance of Tremor in Mortal Kombat Special Forces. I really enjoy this design. The proportions of Tremor, his wide shoulders and big frame look great for him. I also really enjoy the shade of brown, kind of a tannish color, and I also think out of all of the classic ninja designs, the UMK3 one looks the best on Tremor, and I think out of any of the ninjas, it's the one that fits him the most. It does suck that he doesn't have the rock skin, orange eyes, or the molten look, or even the crystals would be cool, but you can't hold it against this design too much since it was literally the first one ever. At number 7, I have Khameleon's Armageddon design. I think this is a super underrated look. It seems like most people gloss over the male Chameleon as a whole, but especially this design, I think this look is awesome. The transparent skin is super cool, and the fact that the outfit is slowly changing color instead of just randomly changing immediately, I think is way cooler, plus its main color of green looks really nice. I also really enjoy the glowing eyes, especially paired with the transparent skin. That looks super cool, especially as it's changing color and stuff. In terms of the actual outfit, it's a nice modernization of the classic designs. I think the mask and headband look is great, and overall I really enjoy this one, and I don't understand why people kind of throw it to the side and ignore it. At number 6, I have Scarlet's story design from MK11. This one is significantly better than her default, and it's used in all the promotion and main graphics and stuff, so I don't know why it isn't just her default, but it fixes the issue with the hair, which was my personal biggest problem with the default design. It shows a little bit more skin and is overall a bit more breathable, but still not my preference when it comes to Scarlet, and I do wish her hair was in the ponytail instead. But it's good. I like it. I really enjoy the shade of red that they used here. It's a bit brighter than MK9, which I always thought was a bit too dark in some lighting. Breaking the top 5, speaking of which, we have the Mortal Kombat 9 Scarlet design. Now let's get the biggest problem out of the way. These proportions are whack. So many people have said it. It's a constant problem with MK9, and this costume really shows it off. But in terms of the actual outfit, this is generally what I prefer from Scarlet compared to what's in MK11. As I already said, I wish the shade of red was a bit lighter than it is, but I think the outfit itself makes up for that. In this game, Scarlet absorbs blood through her skin, so it makes sense that it'd be so revealing. She's also very acrobatic, so this breathable design that doesn't have stiff armor or a constraining bodysuit makes sense. I also really enjoy how this design makes her look dangerous. That's my biggest issue with Mileena and Jade's MK9 designs. They look goofy next to the men because it's so clear that the design is only for eye candy and not to intimidate their opponents. But with Scarlet, she still looks like a warrior with the swords on her back, the throwing knives, the slight bits of armor there is. It's easily the best female ninja design in this game. At number 4, I have MK11 Frost. I already said this in my hot takes video, but I enjoy Cyber Frost quite a lot. It makes her more unique to Sub-Zero and allows for some more creativity. Do I think this design handles it the best it possibly could? No, not really, but I still really like it. Now obviously my biggest issue with this design is the color palette of white and gold because of you know who, but other than that, I think this is a good first Cyberfrost design, and probably the last one too. Even though I don't like it as much as the Deadly Alliance hair, I actually enjoy what she has here in this game. I know a lot of people don't like it and say she looks like a Karen, but firstly, I think it's hot. Why do I keep hitting on Frost today? But also, a Karen is kind of what Frost is. Someone who's entitled and rageful and needs a good old slice of humble pie. But yeah, I really like how slick the armor is. It's not overly bulky, the glowing parts are nice and don't overdo it, and I like this sort of color thing she's wearing. Taking the bronze medal at number 3, I have Armageddon Khameleon with a K. This design is much more popular than Khameleon, and I can understand why. It feels like a more classic type design with more recognizable design aspects, plus the glowing eyes, transparent skin, and shifting colors. But it also has some crazy hair, which I don't know why, but just fits Khameleon super well, even though she has like no personality. I don't know, it just makes sense for some reason. This design is the one that inspired the MK1 version. It's pretty much the same design, just with better graphics and different hair, but you can see how the stylization of the 3D era and the proportions and the exaggeration makes this design so much more fun and interesting to look at compared to that one. I will never understand why they ditched the transparent skin for MK1. I don't know, maybe some sort of technical limitation with the fatalities or something, but I don't know, that's kind of lame. It feels like a core part of her character that they just took out for some reason. At number 2, I have Frost's Deadly Alliance default outfit. Even though I enjoy Cyber Frost, I just had to put the OG above it as the best Frost design. It just looks so nice and slick. I like how it's a bit less clean than the Sub-Zero designs, and a bit more chaotic if you know what I mean just by looking at it. I haven't mentioned Frost's hair too much, but I think it looks at its best here. I prefer when her hair looks almost like actual ice rather than just looking dyed blue. I really enjoy the black bodysuit and the intricate designs on the vest. I also really like how the arms look too. My one gripe with this design is that the cloth wrapped around one of her legs looks a bit out of place and kind of messes with the symmetry of the design, but other than that, great stuff. But at number 1, my favorite design out of all the ones we've talked about today is Tremor's Mortal Kombat X design. This is one of my favorite ninja redesigns we've ever gotten. Tremor looks so damn intimidating in this outfit, especially in the version from Snowblind. That version of Tremor would be number 1 if it was from the game. But I just love how the rock skin and orange eyes look. The mask gives Dark Knight Bane vibes as well, which just really shoots Tremor's role as the brute force tank of the Black Dragon, which I think this design also nails. Since I don't think it would make sense for the Black Dragon to have a random ninja on the team, I think Tremor not looking anything like a traditional ninja makes sense for him. I also really love how the shoulder pads look, and the shade of brown that they went with looks really nice. It's saved from the MKX desaturation fate, since brown isn't really a color that would look bad when desaturated, unlike more vibrant colors. But yeah, that'll do it. You guys let me know in the comments below what your favorite designs from this list were, and while you're down there, make sure to check out the links in the description to my merch store, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, make sure to give this video a like to show your support, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to know when I next upload a new video. And with that being said, that's it for this video, my fellow oddities. I'll see you next time.